Good morning, good afternoon, and of course, good evening, traders from across the globe. Thank you, as always, for tuning into my 2763rd edition of Short-Term Trading Live with Oscar. Traders, risky game, risky. Never trade without putting protective stops in. No matter what you trade, from crypto to options and everything in between, it's all risky. Put your stops in first, okay? A couple of topics on the board and a couple of topics we need to speak about. First is the webinar. This Monday, rock and roll, baby. That's the 24th of June. 3 p.m. Eastern. I'll be doing a live webinar to show where the markets are going, what the charts are saying, and how we could make some money, hopefully, moving forward from that webinar. This Monday, the 24th, at 3 p.m., I will leave a link below the video for you to click on. What else do we have out there? OMNI. We've got an OMNI coming, and I love clapping for that. This is going to happen on the 4th week of July, the 25th, the weekend of the 25th of this July. We got about 5 weeks left. If you would like to join me in Las Vegas for OMNI, that's going to last from a Thursday night until a Monday night. So you need to be here from Thursday to Monday. Come to livewithoscar.com, or even better, go to OMNIBootcamp.com and fill out an apprehensive comp. And fill out one of those forms, with the lines on them that have questions and you put answers. Fill out one of those and I'll come back to you and I'll give you a call and see if you qualify for OMNI. Now, for trading on 6/18/2024, traders, the NASDAQ, the OMNI S&P are just leading the race and leading the pace of the race. They are out in front. Now, I've shown you in the last 4 videos that we've had certain markets that would need to help keep these guys leading. They were in commodities, interest rates like bonds, metals, the inflation index, and energy. Well, all of them, since the series of videos began a few weeks ago, all of them are now helping the rally. In fact, the Dow has signed on a little bit, looks much better, to help the rally of NASDAQ and even the S&P. Only the Dow Jones Transportation Average at this point and the Russell 2000 are not helping. They haven't signed on to the big rally taking place. But some of that has to do with Europe. I'm not going to get into the specifics, but Europe and the Russell are combined. They have a lot more to do with one another than Europe and the OMNI, S&P, or NASDAQ. And a lot of the stocks that are in the Russell are smaller cap stocks that are factories that actually make products and are more closely related to the transportation average than something like the NASDAQ or even the OMNI. The NASDAQ, you got all the high tech in there. Some of them don't build anything, right? They have services and they're worth zillions of dollars. So you can see that flying. OMNI S&P's got some great companies. Not all of them put out products. A lot more companies in the Russell actually build products that need transportation. So these guys are sort of tied together with Europe. Europe's got more money invested in the Russell. That's part of the European stock market, is the Russell more so than NASDAQ or S&P. And that's why you're getting that lag. Now, there was no shot NASDAQ and S&P could do it without the commodities, interest rates, metals, inflation, and everything else helping, but they are. Oh, away we go, and the OMNI's green for trading on Tuesday, and I don't see why not. Up, and away we go. There have been some questions in my trading room. Oscar, is there going to be some sort of rollover expected for Juneteenth? And I would tell you, no, it's not on the list of major worldwide holidays that actually create those reversals. So we're not going to consider, a smaller type holiday to be a reversal type. It needs to be more worldwide. The whole world's got to celebrate it. If it's one of those, it creates reversals. So no reversal expected. Commodities, interest rates, metals, inflation, energy, all helping push up NASDAQ and S&P. I say the transportation average and the Russell just start to kick in, but no one knows that for sure, and I'm not going to tell them where they're going to go. But everything else is falling in suit and starting to sign on to the rally. So the likelihood is they will. We'll take this one day at a time. At least for Tuesday, we're buying dips. Monday night to Tuesday, OMNI, S&P, NASDAQ. So that's what we're looking at so far. I'd like to show you some fantastic charts. In these charts, it will depict everything about the commodities that we've seen in the last 5 videos. where interest rates are now, where the metals are now, inflation, energy. Is it helping or hurting? You'll see all of that in the chart segment because the charts are the Bible. They tell us the truth about everything. So we'll get right to those charts and we'll show them to you. And then you'll see the proof of why these sentences are written on my board. What else is up there? Rollover. Traders, if you're trading E-mini, S&P, NASDAQ, Russell, if you trade indices, if you trade currencies, if you trade bonds, everything by now has rolled over from June, which was M, to September, which is U. No more M, no more June. We're all trading in September now. Roll over your charts, roll over your price ladders. Make sure you're ready for the September market. We're not going to trade June any further. Is there anything else I wanted to get to? I think that's just about it. Traders, you know, this OmniCamp, you should come out because, listen, I'm not going to do these forever. And while I'm teaching them, you should come out and learn this craft for yourself so you're not waiting for a flash update to happen at 3 in the morning, which is insanity compared to you learning this for yourselves so that you've already got the trade worked out and you don't need that flash update. If that will help you, make sure, once again, you come to OMNIBootCamp.com. Take advantage of these OmniCamps while I am still putting them out. In fact, if you don't mind, take a quick look. Watch this for just a moment. You know, when I tell you that OmniCampers are great for novices as well as pros, well, I've had a novice, I kid you not, he didn't even know what the word short was. I asked him if he understood what a short position was. You know what he told me? No, Oscar, I don't know what that means. And I went, oh, dear Lord, you're sitting at my camp. He became an experiment. At camp, I mentioned to the 2 other traders who were literally traders from Chicago that have spent years and years in the pit. They've got all that experience. Here's a guy that doesn't even know what short means. And I said, listen, you guys sitting over here, see this guy over here? He will be my best student. He will be absolutely the easiest one to teach. He will be a fantastic Omniac. You know why? He doesn't have anything stuck in his head. So the first day he'll know Omni. It'll take me 2 days to teach you and the next 2 days to make you understand it better. This kid will learn Omni like that because he's a novice. And they were like, well, we'll see. We got all this experience. Watch this. Let me show you what happened. Watch this clip.
When I first came here, I didn't know nothing about stocks. I had no idea. My experience was Robinhood and other programs are really. But leaving this camp for the 3 days, I feel I have the necessary tools, the mentors, the teachers to help me be successful. And I didn't know anything, so if I can do it, anybody else can do it. It's so simple.
That's so great. Yeah. Thank you.
It's so simple, so I recommend it.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, you see that, Christian? You did a great job. Keep practicing. Keep doing your homework. You are going to be a fantastic trader. That will happen to you, I promise. Go to OmniBootCamp.com, fill out those applications, and I will get back to you. Traders, with no further ado, we're going to tell you what to do to keep yourself from going crazy, and then we're going to go look at the charts. What are we going to tell you to do? By now you should know me, right? I'm a nut, and I've got this crazy saying, but it really helps you traders out there, and by now you should know what that is. Say this to yourselves. Stops are in. Emotions are out. Rock and roll, traders. Now let's go look at some charts. Traders, the E-mini S&P daily bar chart, I mean, it is just a raging bull off to the races. These are all-time new highs and looking fantastic with a green Omni for trading on Tuesday. And the NASDAQ looks very much the same. In fact, I think the NASDAQ looks even better. Look at that thing just exploding. Look at it on the weekly. You couldn't ask for a better picture on the weekly. Staying inside the channel, holding this average, and just riding this straight up. Look where it is now. Looks fantastic. However, I told you there is no way NASDAQ and E-mini S&P can just continue like this without some other things taking place. What had to take place? You needed the Dow Jones Industrial Average to start at least gaining some legs and trying to follow in suit. This is where we're at now. Doesn't look as lovely, of course, as NASDAQ or S&P because contract highs are all the way up here. And it's down here. But at least now it's holding. It held this line a second time. We had a nice strong up day Monday. It's starting to participate. Look at the Russell 2000. Had a nice strong day Monday, but once again, no help here either. Not a lot of participation on the upside. This would be contract highs all the way up here. And Russell's all the way down here. However, that looks like a bull flag, doesn't it? And if that's a bull flag, right there, I'll give you a poll, and here's our flag. If that's a bull flag, we're bouncing off the bottom of that flag right now, and Omni is bullish for trading on Tuesday. At least it held. And then you got the Dow Jones Transportation Average, and if you ask me, that's no help at all. In fact, I pointed this out to you in the last video. This could be a head and shoulders building. Right? These three circles right here. That could easily be a head and shoulders building. That doesn't look like much help to me. However, you do have this. 30-year bonds, when I told you when interest rates were going up, the bonds were going down, bad for the market. Well, interest rates have gone down since, because when bonds go up, interest rates go down. This is the bond market going up. So interest rates helping the NASDAQ and S&P. Gold, since we started talking about the top, or I should say before we started talking about the NASDAQ and E-mini S&P needing some help, gold was all the way up here by its highs. Well, gold's come down a lot, and if you ask me, it's in a bear flag right now. That's helping. Silver, another one of the markets that have been in the videos that we've seen for the last 2 weeks. That's dropped a lot so far, right? That's helping, and now it's challenging an average. That doesn't usually get under. We'll see what happens if it does get under that. You've got copper, Dr. Copper. This is in industry. It's in everything. That's come down quite a bit, right? Alleviating some of the pressure that might have been getting put on NASDAQ and S&P, allowing them to run further. Crude oil, energy. It was up here when I started those series of videos that we looked at for the last few weeks. Well, energy dropped dramatically from there, and it's only back here, but it was there, right? So it still has dropped a lot. Even though you find it here right now, it's down a lot from where this all began, which was pushing down S&P and NASDAQ for a little while. Gasoline, something else that you need to move products around, more so than crude. Look at how cheap that's gotten. It's below the 200-bar moving average, stays inside of this channel, keeps dropping every time it hits the top of it, then heads towards the bottom, right? So that's been showing us that certainly moving products around has gotten cheaper. And if you look at all the commodities, you will see that the price of raw materials has gotten much cheaper. So there are companies that are paying way less for their raw materials. This was the height of COVID when you couldn't get raw materials. And this was the inflation index. And for a little while, it started to go up, and that got a little bit scary. But let me show you what's happened since. Inflation has totally cooled off since. It is absolutely cooling. It's down to 101.88. It's just falling apart now. And I think that's another head and shoulders, which should point to lower. So inflation has cooled. The price of raw materials have cooled. Metals have cooled off. Energy, the price of moving products have cooled off. But they haven't lowered prices at all at the stores. You better believe the stock market's going to keep going up, because that's driving the stock market up. So get this. If I'm now paying so much less for raw materials than I was paying 2 years ago, but the price of my product is still as expensive as it was, if not more than 2 years ago, am I not making a killing right now? Yes, I am, and that's why the stocks just continue higher. At some point, I promise you, a price war will start. You will see it. A price war will have to start. These products that are still charging this amount when they could be charging this amount eventually are going to have a price war. It'll start with Target or Walmart flexing their muscles. You've got to get products to get cheaper. Now, I'm not saying that services get cheaper, but products, goods on the shelves can certainly be cheaper. Looking at this picture. NASDAQ, after everything I showed you, that means NASDAQ should continue on and its sisters should follow it. You gotta love that. Then there are crypto fans out there, right? Look at Ethereum. Now, Ethereum's not, it's just in this really monstrous, if you ask me, bull flag with a lot of room to move around. But it looks great because there is a flagpole, and for now, we will call that a flag. It's interesting area right now holding that black average, which I just turned blue. So let's see. Bitcoin, by the way, is in the exact same place As I showed you a couple of days ago, it is testing that average that usually holds. Usually holds. Usually holds, right? Gets to it, it holds. Gets to it again, it holds. Gets to it again, it holds. It's testing it now. If it holds and the stock market goes up, likelihood is Bitcoin will as well. Traders, I hope that helps. Make sure that you are watching charts, watching markets, coming to livewithoscar.com and putting in your stops first.